Hi everyone. 2 years ago now, just a week before the UK went into its first lockdown for COVID, Gandalf moved in. I thought at the time it would just be a temporary thing. He was going to be my lockdown project and I would help him find his way out of his failed attempts of homing, out of his fear reactivity, his sleep startle, and help him to get a forever home. I posted a year ago with his progress up until that point. We were starting to turn some corners, but he still had a long way to go. And here we are now 2 years later. He's still with me and he's become a forever foster. So he's going to be staying, but we have support from Hall Green Greyhound Trust to help him move forwards. This last year has had its ups and downs, same as that first year did, but we've faced quite different challenges. And I thought it's time to share those with you in this video to mark his 2 years since leaving the kennels. So a key thing about this last year has been how he has changed medically. He has been addressing his behavioural issues with the use of medication from the vet, and we've also had pain relief to help with what has turned out to be muscle pain that he had. We started on both of those treatments earlier in the year, and that's had a big change in his personality that has made him feel a bit calmer. He's much more tolerant now of my other dogs, and we see that sleep startle very rarely, if at all, and certainly if it does surface, it's nothing like it used to be. We're also getting far less fear reactivity on walks. He does still react to other dogs, but I think what we're seeing now is much more about prey drive than anxiety. He really reached a turning point when he was able to pick up treats from the floor. That was quite a shock when that first happened, because it was the first time he'd been relaxed enough on a walk to actually take his awareness away from his surroundings and reach down to the floor to pick up a treat that he dropped. He's more able to respond to me when he's on a walk. And if something triggers him, he calms down more quickly. He can cope with dogs a bit closer than he used to be able to, but that still is very much a work in progress. But the big thing about this year has been getting him ready to have a dental. Now, he needed the dental right from the start, but we had to address his behavioural issues so he could cope with being in the vets with other dogs around. So we worked with his behaviour, with his medication, in order to prepare him for this. He had the dental at the end of October, and the actual day was quite a challenge, probably the most worrying day I had all year. We arrived at the vet in time for him to be sedated in the car and then taken straight in. He had a lot of teeth out, and he also had 7 x-rays around his hindquarters and back legs to see if he had arthritis, to see whether pain there was contributing towards his grumpiness. So I arranged to pick him up from the vet as soon as he was awake and with us again, but unfortunately, as he woke up with a real start, he banged his head and started bleeding quite badly from his nose. I did bring him home, but 6 hours later he was still bleeding, and I ended up at the emergency vet with all manner of assessments and drugs and treatments, and a very, very sleepless night, wondering if he'd still be with us the next morning or if I would need another emergency dash to the vet. It took a long time to recover from that dental. He found the x-rays difficult, I think, because he seemed to be in more pain afterwards than he was before, and not just connected to his mouth. We got an infection in the first few days and he had to go on antibiotics, which then upset his tummy, and it's taken me maybe 3 months to really settle his tummy down and to get him to put weight on again. He lost a lot of weight over that time. So I'm hoping that we don't have to have another anaesthetic, because that really was all very stressful for both me and for him. The good news is that his x-rays were clear, that he doesn't have problems with arthritis, and that the problems with his hindquarters are probably much more to do with muscle tension. So we've started seeing a physio. He has an appointment every 4 weeks, and she releases all the tension down his back and down his hindquarters, and that is making him much more comfortable. I've been able to reduce his pain relief, and he's getting on much better than he ever did a year ago. So that dental has really dominated our year, both preparing for it and coping with the aftermath from it. But at the same time, he's had a lot of fun, being silly, doing daft things, doing his toy test, trying out lots of different toys, and he's really getting on very well in every way that you can imagine. One thing that's been a big thing about this year is the arrival of Jimmy back in the autumn of 2021. Now, I never thought that Gandalf would have a best friend in a dog. He doesn't seem to inspire confidence in my other dogs. They still avoid him. But Jimmy somehow really bonded with Gandalf, and they start each day playing in the garden. They have a great time, and it's just wonderful to see them together. I think this gives them an outlet that both of them need, and they have formed a bond that I don't see in any of my other dogs. As well as having his visits from the physio, he also has exercises to do in between. We've been working with exercises to stretch through his neck and his shoulders, to work on stretching down the whole side of his body, and also now to help increase the awareness of his hindquarters and his back legs in general, to get him to pick up his feet a bit more. So we're working on that on a daily basis. He's also been helping me with some of the courses I've been going on, working with animal-centered education as arranged by Sarah Fisher, and he enjoys, I hope, being part of that with me, and I've learned a lot about him, and he has been helped in doing the exercises and practicing the techniques that we do as part of that training. We're going to be doing some treat tests as well before too long, and he likes generally getting involved with the rest of the gang, helping out with making videos. So that's been the highlight of our year. Who knows where we'll be in another year's time, but as before, we just keep moving onwards, we keep moving upwards, and we see where we go. I'll see you again with Gandalf in a year's time. Bye for now. Look out for new videos every Monday, and why not subscribe so you don't miss out?